Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevayam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevayam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevayam. Om Aganda Timarandasya Ganajana Shivakaya Chakshur Umilitam Yena Tajma Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Hare Krishna. The following video series is a summary of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam was translated into English by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Also included are His in-depth commentaries known as purports. These purports unpack the often complex and symbolic language of the text, making it understandable to a wider audience. The Srimad Bhagavatam, also known as the Bhagavata Purana, is considered the most important of sacred scriptures. Composed around 5,000 years ago, it is considered the ripened fruit of the tree of Vedic literature and the original commentary on the Vedanta-sutra. The author of Srimad Bhagavatam is Srila Vyasadeva. He is also the compiler of the Vedas, classified as a Purana, a vast genre of ancient stories and knowledge encompassing history, philosophy, and spiritual teachings. Srimad Bhagavatam includes stories of avatars, creation narratives, lives of saints and sages, philosophy discourses, and practical guidance for spiritual life. Divided into 12 cantos with over 18,000 verses covering 10 subject matters. 1. The elemental creation. 2. The secondary creation. 3. The planetary systems. 4. Protection by the Lord. 5. The creative impetus. 6. Manvatars. 7. The science of God. 8. The dissolution. 9. Liberation. And 10. The supreme shelter. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya-lila, chapter 25, text 143 and 144, Lord Chaitanya, speaking to Prakrisananda Saraswati, tells him. Translation. The meaning of the Vedanta-sutra is present in Srimad Bhagavatam. The full purport of the Mahabharata is also there. The commentary of the Brahma Gayatri is also there and fully expanded with all Vedic knowledge. Srimad Bhagavatam is the Supreme Purana. It was compiled by the Supreme Personality of Godhead in His incarnation as Vyasadeva. There are 12 cantos, 335 chapters, and 18,000 verses. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, chapters 1 through 8. Chapter 1. The activities of Maharaja Priyavrata. This chapter describes how King Priyavrata was detached from worldly opulence, and then became attached to his kingdom, but finally he again became detached from material enjoyment and thus achieved liberation. When King Pariksit heard about this, he was struck with wonder, but he was somewhat bewildered as to how a devotee with no attachment for material enjoyment could later become attached to it. In response to the king's inquiries, Sukadeva Goswami said that devotional service, being transcendental, cannot be deviated by any material influences. Priyavrata had received transcendental knowledge from the instructions of Narada Muni, and therefore he did not want to enter a materialistic life of enjoyment in a kingdom. He accepted the kingdom, however, at the request of Lord Brahma and Lord Indra, the king of heaven. When Maharaj Priyavrata followed the instructions of Lord Brahma and accepted the royal throne, Maharaj Priyavrata then married Bharishmati, the daughter of Vishvakarma. A verse from chapter 1 is text 10. Bhagavan api bharatat upanitarhanana sukta vakena titaram udita guna ganavartana sujaya priyavartam adi purusas tam sadaya asas valoka iti hobacha. Translation. My dear King Pariksit, because Lord Brahma had finally descended from Satyaloka to Bhuloka, Narada Muni, Prince Priyavrata, and Swayambhuva Manu came forward to offer him objects of worship and to praise him in highly qualified language. According to Vedic etiquette, at the time, Lord Brahma, the original person of the universe, felt compassion for Priyavrata and, looking upon him with a smiling face, spoke to him as follows. Chapter 2. The activities of Maharaj Agnidhra. Srila Sukadeva Goswami continued. When Maharaj Priyavrata went off for spiritual realization, his son Agnidhra became the ruler of Jambudvip in accordance with Maharaj Priyavrata's instruction and maintained its residence with the same affection as a father feels for his son. Once Maharaj Agnidhra desired to have a son, and therefore he entered a cave of Mandara mountain to practice austerity. Understanding his desire, Lord Brahma sent a celestial girl named Purvachati to Agnidhra's hermitage. After dressing herself very attractively, she presented herself before him with various feminine movements, and Agnidhra was naturally attracted to her. The girl's actions, expressions, smile, sweet words, and moving eyes were fascinating to him. Agnidhra was expert in flattery. Thus he attracted the celestial girl, who was pleased to accept him as her husband because of his multifarious words. She enjoyed royal happiness with Agnidhra for many years before returning to her abode in the heavenly planet. A verse from chapter 2 is text 3. Tat upalabhya bhagavan adi purusha sadasi gayatim purvachitim nama prasvaram adhi yapayam asa. Translation. Understanding King Agnidhra's desire, the first and foremost powerful created being in the universe, Lord Brahma, selected the best of the dancing girls in this assembly, whose name was Purvachati, and sent her to the king. Chapter 3. Rsabhadeva's appearance in the womb of Merudevi, the wife of King Nabhi. Srila Sukadeva Goswami continued to speak to Maharaj Parikshit. Wanting to have sons, Maharaj Nabhi underwent severe austerities and penances. He performed many sacrifices along with his wife and worshipped Lord Vishnu, master of all sacrifices. Being very kind to his devotees, the Supreme Personality of Godhead was very pleased with the austerities of Maharaj Nabhi. He personally appeared before the king in his four-handed feature, and the priests who were performing the sacrifices began to offer their prayers to him. They prayed for a son like the Lord, and Lord Vishnu agreed to take birth from the womb of Merudevi, the wife of King Nabhi, and incarnate as King Rsabhadeva. A verse from chapter 3 is text 6. Pargyana nu raga virachita sabbala samsabala salya sita kisalaya tulasika Dravan kurar api sambritaya samparyaya kila parama parishtu yasi. Translation. O Supreme Lord, you are full in every respect. You are certainly very satisfied when your devotees offer you prayers with faltering voices, and in ecstasy bring you tulsi leaves, water, twigs bearing new leaves, and newly grown grass. This surely makes you satisfied. Chapter 4. The characteristics of Rsabhadeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Rsabhadeva, the son of Maharaj Nabhi, begot 100 sons, and during the reign of those sons, the world was very happy in all respects. When Rsabhadeva appeared as the son of Maharaj Nabhi, he was appreciated by the people as the most exalted and beautiful personality of that age. His poise, influence, strength, enthusiasm, bodily luster, and other transcendental qualities were beyond compare. Although there was a scarcity of rain, Rsabhadeva did not care for Indra, the king of heaven, who was in charge of supplying rain. Through his own potency, Rsabhadeva sumptuously covered Agnidhra with ample rain. Upon receiving Rsabhadeva, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as his son, King Nabhi began to raise him very carefully. After that, he entrusted the ruling power to him and, retiring from family life, lived at Bhadarashrama, completely engaged in the worship of Vasudeva, the Supreme Lord. A verse from chapter 4 is text 9. Yesam kalu mahayogi bharato jesa shresa guna asid yenedam varasam Bharatam iti vyapadisati. Translation. Of Rsabhadeva's 100 sons, the eldest, named Bharata, was a great exalted devotee qualified with the best attributes. In his honor, this planet has become known as Bharata. Chapter 5. Lord Rsabhadeva's teaching to his sons. In this chapter, Lord Rsabhadeva instructs his sons on the purpose of human life. He emphasizes that human birth is not meant for indulgence in sensual pleasures like animals, but to be used for self-realization and attaining liberation. He stresses the importance of bhakti yoga, devotional service, renunciation, and surrender to the Supreme Lord. Rsabhadeva explains that true happiness cannot be found in material pursuits, but only in serving the Lord. He warns against materialistic activities which bind the soul to the cycle of birth and death, and urges his sons to associate with sadhus, saintly persons, cultivate spiritual wisdom, and control their senses. He said one who cannot deliver another person by instructing him in devotional service should not become a spiritual master, father, mother, demigod, or husband. Instructing his 100 sons, Lord Rsabhadeva advised them to accept their eldest brother, Bharata, as their guide and Lord, and thereby serve him. Thus Sukadeva Goswami describes the characteristics of Bharata Maharaj and the sacrificial performance executed by Lord Rsabhadeva for the instruction of the general populace. A verse from chapter 5 is text 8. Pumsa striya mituni baban etam tayor mito hridaya granti ahu ato griha kshetra sutapta pritir janasya mohoyam aham mameti. Translation. The attraction between male and female is the basic principle of material existence. On the basis of this misconception, which ties together the hearts of the male and female, one becomes attracted to his body, home, property, children, relatives, and wealth. In this way, one increases life's illusion and thinks in terms of I and mine. Chapter 6. The activities of Lord Rsabhadeva. This chapter tells how Lord Rsabhadeva left his body. He was not attached to his body even when it was being burned up in the forest. After ruling the world wisely and instructing his sons on the path of devotion and detachment, Rsabhadeva renounces his kingdom and takes to the life of an Avadhuta, a spiritually realized being who transcends social norms. He wanders through forests and villages acting like a madman, silent and indifferent to worldly concerns, to teach detachment by example. Despite his disheveled appearance and odd behavior, he remains fully absorbed in self-realization, unaffected by insults, bodily discomfort, or external condition. He practices Aja Garaviti, the way of the python, accepting whatever comes to him without effort. Eventually, he enters a forest in South India, where he surrenders his body in a wildfire, demonstrating the impermanence of the material world. A verse from chapter 6 is text 5. Kamo manur madolobha soka moha bayadaya karma bandaschayan mula vikuryatko nutad buddha. Translation. The mind is the root cause of lust, anger, pride, greed, lamentation, illusion, and fear. Combined, these constitute bondage to fruit of activity. What learned man would put faith in the mind? Chapter 7. The activities of King Bharata. Srila Sukadeva Goswami continues speaking to Maharaj Pariksit. Maharaj Bharata, the eldest son of Rsabhadeva, inherits the kingdom after his father's renunciation. Being ordered by his father, Lord Rsabhadeva, Bharata Maharaj married Panchagani, the daughter of Vishvarupa. After this, he ruled the whole world peacefully. Bharata Maharaj rules wisely, following the principles of Dharma. He ensures the prosperity of his subjects while remaining deeply devoted to Lord Vishnu. Despite his immense responsibilities as a king, he performs his duties with detachment, recognizing that the material world is temporary. He also kept Lord Vyasadeva constantly within his heart. After ruling for many years, Bharata renounces his kingdom, family, and divides his kingdom among his 5 sons. He then left home and went to the forest to dedicate himself fully to devotional service. He resides in a sacred hermitage where he performs severe austerities and worships the Supreme Lord with pure devotion. He engages in meditative practices, chanting the Lord's holy names. A verse from chapter 7 is text 14. Paro Raja Savitur Jata Vedo Devasya Bhargo Manasedam Jagana Sure Tassada Punar Abhisa Kaste Hamsam Gri Ranam Visad Ingiram Iham. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is situated in pure goodness. He illuminates the entire universe and bestows all benedictions upon his devotees. The Lord has created this universe from his own spiritual potency. According to his desire, the Lord entered this universe as a supersoul, and by virtue of his different potencies, he is maintaining all living entities desiring material enjoyment. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the Lord, who is the giver of intelligence. Chapter 8. A description of the character of Bharata Maharaj. Although Bharata Maharaj was very elevated, he fell down due to his attachment to a young deer. One day after Bharata Maharaj had taken his bath as usual in the river Gandaki and was chanting his mantra, he saw a pregnant deer come to the river to drink water. Suddenly, there could be heard the thundering roar of a lion, and the deer, who was so frightened that it immediately gave birth to its calf. It then crossed the river, but died immediately thereafter. Bharata Maharaj took compassion upon the motherless calf, rescued it from the water, took it to his ashram, and cared for it affectionately. He gradually became attached to this young deer and always thought of it affectionately. As it grew up, it became Maharaj Bharata's constant companion, and he always took care of it. Gradually, he became so absorbed in thinking of this deer that his mind became agitated, and as he became more attached to the deer, his devotional service slackened. Although he was able to give up his opulent kingdom, he became attached to the deer. Thus, he fell down from his mystic yoga practice. Once, when the deer was absent, Maharaj Bharata was so disturbed that he began to search for it. While searching and lamenting the deer's absence, Maharaj Bharata fell down and died. Because his mind was fully absorbed in thinking of the deer, he naturally took his next birth from the womb of a deer. However, because he was considerably advanced spiritually, he did not forget his past activities. Even though he was in the body of a deer, he could understand how he had fallen down from his exalted position. And remembering this, he left his mother deer and again went to Pulashram. He finally ended his fruitive activities in the form of a deer, and when he died, he was released from the deer's body. A verse from chapter 8 is text 28. Tatrapi hava atmano mrigatva karmanam bhagavad aradhana sami hanu bhavenanus vitam brisham anuta payamana aha. Translation. Although in the body of a deer, Bharata Maharaj, due to his rigid devotional service in his past life, could understand the cause of his birth in that body. Considering his past and present life, he constantly repented his activities.